The financial freedom for the average person. I'm Oba Vincent, and we're going to get started with the very first exercise in the book. And this is a real powerful one, and it's one I've used a lot. I can say I kind of developed myself, but I use it when I'm talking to people and they want to do something. All of us need to come up with ideas and paths and plans for actions. A real simple one that I'll start with is we all need a car. Okay, now it's easy enough to go out and just go into debt and buy a car. But let's say, you've got a car and, in let's say 4 years or so, you're going to need to replace it. So let's go over about how you approach to do this. Now, this is a technique. And again, you can do this with anything, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, getting your education, getting your wife, getting your dog trained, whatever it is. Okay. But it's simple, but we'll go through it. The approach is very simple. Just take out a plain sheet of paper. Any kind of paper, white, line, doesn't matter. And when I'm doing this, usually it's on scratches and it's something you work with and you change. You polish it up later if you want to, but it gets your mind thinking. On the bottom right-hand corner, at the very bottom, down here, you put down what you're striving for. Money, house, new car, education, whatever, tons and tons of things. On the top left-hand corner, write down where you're starting at. Okay, if you're going to try to get, well, the example I'll use is $30,000, and you have nothing to start with. How many years are you going to do it for, or how are you going to break it down? And then across the top, write down the time frame that you want to accomplish the goal, whether it's years, months, millenniums, whatever. Next, draw the lines down the paper, divide the time into relatively equal sections. And each of the columns, write down the steps, measures that you need to accomplish that goal. When you start it may sound complicated, but I'll show you here how this comes together and how it can work for you. So here's a rough sketch of how this is done. On the lower right, again, I have it circled. You put your goal, whatever you want to get to. Up in the top left, you write where you're starting at. Then the lines are drawn down the paper, your time periods now, so they could be months, years, weeks, whatever you want to do it in. And you can apply this to all kinds of things. Now, after you get the times broken out, then you figure out what actions you need to take during those time periods to reach your goal. And very powerful tool because, again, one of the things I'll come back and I'll say again and again and again, what gets measured gets done. All right. So if you know where you're going, you have a path to get there, then you just have to follow the path. Sometimes the path's not easy, but sometimes it's easier than you may anticipate. Okay. So here's an example from the book. And I did this back in 2018. But it's how to obtain a new car in 4 years. Okay. And the thinking at that time is I need to get $30,000 in 4 years to do that. And so I broke that into the four segments: 2018, 19, 20, and 21. By into 21, I'm going to have 30,000. I'm starting with nothing. And then I'm going to take a series of actions. And what it boils down to, and also you look at the bottom, I have the goal for the money I'm going to get. First year, 6,000, 12,000, 18,000, and then I'm going to get to 30,000. Okay. So I'm doing things here. I'm using interest, and that's where I actually start off. And as we get into this, I will spend a lot of time talking about interest and how you can use it to your advantage and how you can avoid it hurting you. So, but first thing, opening a high yield account, get as much interest as you can. Figure out if I'm going to get $6,000 a year, I need to put away $500 a month. So the first year, I'm going to put away 500. Now I've got to figure out where I'm going to find that 500. Okay. Now, I'm going to get a pay raise. I know for the year, I'm going to take that pay raise, may take half of it. I may change some of my tax withholdings to kind of beef that up. Once I do that, I'm going to make a direct deposit right into that high yield account. Why am I going to a high yield account? Well, in in 2026 right now, I can get 3.5%. Okay, so that's going to help make up that gap between the money I'm putting away and the money I need at the end. Going into the second, and then by the way, every year I'm going to readjust this, and I'm going to adjust deposits, and I'm going to move things around. I'm keeping this very simple. And then say in the last year, I guess I'm going to sell my old car in the last year, and we'll probably get 6,000 for it. And then I will roll everything out, and what I've got, I'll put in. Now, this exact example I will actually post, here on the web, so you can actually, take it and look at it. But again, the power of this is knowing where you want to go, how long it's going to be till you get there, and then what steps you need to take. Now think about this. If you want to get a deposit or a down payment for a new house, you want a new car, whatever, you can apply this to a lot of things. And they don't just have to be financial either. And we'll get more to that in some of the other exercises that I've got coming up here.